I'm a carpenter. I build cabinets, I hang them, and I tear out the dead ones. And there's one cabinet I flat out refuse to fix. It's the one under your kitchen sink, when the bottom's gone soft and puffed up and the door hangs crooked. People ask me to save it all the time, and I tell them no. Not because I'm lazy, because nobody can fix it. It's made of particle board, and once particle board gets wet, it's like a cracker that fell in the sink. You can dry that cracker out all day. It's never going to be a cracker again. So folks ask me, all right, if you won't fix it, what should I do? For a long time, I just said, buy a better one. But that never sat right with me, because I know exactly why these things die. I've hauled enough of them out to the curb. So I sat down and did my homework, the same way I'd size up a job before I ever pick up a saw. And I'm going to show you all of it, so you can judge it for yourself. By the end, you'll know the one spot where almost every kitchen dies, the exact stuff to buy so it never happens to you, and one cheap thing you can do this weekend that saves the whole cabinet. And I'm not guessing at any of this. I've pulled hundreds of these cabinets out over the years, out of hundreds of different kitchens, and I've watched the same one fail first every single time until the pattern was impossible to miss. When I size up a cabinet, I'm not reading the sticker on the front. I'm looking at where every piece sits, what it's really made of, and what's going to happen to it 10 years down the road. That part's just the job. But I don't want you taking only my word for it. So let me point you to the one outside test worth knowing about. There's a group called the KCMA, the Cabinet Makers' Own Association, and they hand out a little blue and white seal to the cabinets that survive a real beating. And it is a beating. They pile weight on the shelves and leave it sitting there for a week. They yank the drawers open and shut 25,000 times. They hang 600 pounds off a wall cabinet to see if it tears out of the wall. So when I tell you a cabinet's built to last, that seal is the proof that backs me up. And all of it pointed to the same place, that cabinet under the sink. Think about what we did there. We took the one material in the whole kitchen that falls apart in water, and we bolted it under the one spot in your house that's guaranteed to leak. Not might leak, will leak. A drip at a pipe fitting, a worn-out seal around the rim of the sink, a dishwasher hose that gives up a little at a time. It's never a question of if, it's when. And the second that water shows up, the bare bottom edge of that board soaks it up like a paper towel. It swells. And here's the part that really gets folks. The screws let go. Once that board turns to mush, there's nothing left for a screw to grab onto. Driving a screw into wet particle board is like driving one into damp sawdust. It just spins, chews the hole wider, and falls out. So your hinges pull loose and your door starts to sag. Your drawer slides pull loose. And if you've got a heavy stone counter sitting up top, that soft bottom starts to bow under all that weight. That's not just ugly anymore. That's not safe. No other cabinet in your kitchen gets torn out as often as that one. It's not even close. Now, before you panic, there's a dead simple way to keep that from ever happening to you, and I'll hand it to you at the end. Okay, so what do you actually buy? There's really two moves here, and the first one's going to sound boring. It's still the one I'd try first. If the boxes you already own are still solid, don't buy new cabinets at all. Just put new doors on the old boxes and paint them. That's called refacing. See, the box is what actually lasts. The door is just the pretty face on the front, and a face is easy to swap out. New doors, new paint, new handles, and the kitchen looks brand new for about half of what all new would cost you, sometimes less. But hear me on this one thing. Do not hang pretty new doors on a box that's already crumbling. If that particle board's gone soft, no door on earth is going to save it. You'll just pay twice. Once to make it pretty, and again in 2 years when it falls apart anyway. So how do you know if your boxes are worth keeping? Push on them. Knock on the one under the sink. If the wood's hard, the screws still bite, and nothing's puffed up or sagging, you're in good shape. A solid wood or a real plywood box can go 30, 40 years. Plenty of them do. And here's a trick most folks never hear, because most companies would rather sell you a whole kitchen. You don't have to go all new or all old. If the sink cabinet's the only one that's dead, you can pull just that one and keep every good cabinet around it. You can even swap that base cabinet out without taking the countertop off, by holding the counter up and working underneath it. You pay for a new box only where you actually need one. That's how I do it in my own house. Now the second move. Maybe the boxes are shot, or maybe you just want all new, and that's fine. It's your house. You get to want what you want, and I'm not going to try to talk you out of it. So here's the most important thing I can tell you about buying new. Don't shop by the name on the door. Shop by the spec sheet. And here's why that matters so much. The very same brand will sell you a particle board version and a plywood version of the exact same door. Same look, same name, totally different guts. So the brand name tells you almost nothing. You've got to ask what it's actually made of. Here's the short list. Write it down. You want an all-plywood box, 3/4 of an inch thick. Plywood, not particle board. You want the shelves in plywood too, or they'll bow under a stack of plates by spring. You want the drawer boxes to be solid wood with dovetail joints, which is the corner that locks together like fingers instead of getting stapled. You want the drawers riding on full extension soft close slides, the good ones tucked underneath. You want a full plywood back panel, because that's what holds the whole box square on the wall. And look for that blue and white KCMA seal. Just know it's the floor and not the ceiling, because a particle board cabinet can earn it too. Now, you don't have to take the salesman's word for any of that. You can check it yourself, right there in the store, and it takes about a minute. Pull a drawer all the way out. Look at the front corner. Little interlocking wooden fingers, that's a dovetail. That's a good sign. Staples or a plastic bracket, put it back. Then look at the raw cut edge of the cabinet side. If it looks like layers in a sandwich, that's plywood, and that's what you want. If it looks like a granola bar, all chips and crumbs, that's particle board. Walk away. That 1 minute tells you more than any brochure ever will. And where do you get all this? A good local cabinet shop can build it. A few outfits ship it right to your door, too. Barker, out of Oregon, builds all plywood boxes with no added formaldehyde. Click Studios sells an all-plywood option with dovetail drawers and that KCMA seal. Home Depot has a custom all-plywood line, and KraftMaid will do all-plywood too. But here's the catch, and do not skip this. On a lot of these, the plywood is an upgrade you have to ask for. The standard box is still particle board. So get the word plywood written right there on your quote. If it's not on the paper, you didn't buy it. Now let me be straight with you about where honest people disagree, because I could stand here and tell you particle board is always garbage, and that wouldn't quite be true. Carpenters like me tend to say never touch the stuff. But a lot of kitchen designers put it in their own homes on purpose, and they've got real reasons. It stays flatter than plywood. It won't cup or warp when the kitchen heats up from cooking and cools back down overnight. And it's cheaper, which adds up fast over a whole kitchen. Those sleek, flat European-style cabinets with no frame around the door, a lot of them are built on it by design. So who's right? Honestly, they both are. It all comes down to one single question. Does it get wet? Kept dry and sealed and away from any water, good particle board can last for decades. But let one leak reach it, especially under that sink, and it turns to mush, and there's no bringing it back. So the real answer was never, just never particle board. It's never at the sink and never left bare. Even a perfect plywood box will rot down there if you ignore it, which is exactly why I'm sending you off with one cheap job to do. So if somebody gives you a flat yes or no on Particleboard, they're leaving out the one thing that actually decides it. Now here's the part almost nobody thinks to ask, and it's the one I'd care about most. Before you spend a single dollar, ask them this: can I still buy one matching door 5 years from now? Because doors take a beating. Kids swing on them. One gets slammed 1,000 too many times, or one warps and you need to replace it. And if that door style or that paint color got discontinued, you can't just swap the one. You either live with a cabinet that doesn't match, or you redo the whole kitchen so it does. That's the back-ordered part of my world, the one nobody warns you about. So pick a door style and a color the company's been selling for years and plans to keep selling. And do this because it's the cheapest insurance there is. Order one extra door and one extra drawer front right now while you still can, and stick them up in the attic. The day one gets wrecked, you'll feel like a genius. And one more, because I'm a carpenter and I'd never forgive myself for skipping it. The best cabinet in the world will still fail if it's hung wrong. It has to go up dead level. It has to be screwed into the studs behind the wall, not just the drywall, or a loaded cabinet can tear right out. And that sink base has to be sealed. A perfect box installed badly is still a bad kitchen. So ask who's doing the install, and ask them how they do it. While we're being honest, let's talk about the words on the sticker, because this is where they get you. When you see furniture board, or engineered wood, or wood composite, or just plain wood product, every one of those means the same thing: Particleboard. It's just a prettier name for it. And watch the phrase solid wood real close. On a cabinet, that almost never means the box is solid wood. Usually it means the door frame is wood and the box behind it is the cheap stuff. So don't let it slide by. Ask them flat out. What is the box made of? What are the shelves made of? Make them give you a straight answer. There's a couple of things I skipped, and I did that on purpose. I could rattle off 15 brand names to look thorough. I'm not going to. I gave you a spec and a few honest places to get it, and that's enough. If I padded this out just to seem impressive, you ought to quit listening to me. I'm also not going to tell you that you need the top dollar custom cabinets with solid wood everywhere. That's overkill, and whoever's pushing it is upselling you. A plywood box, dovetail drawers, good slides, and a sealed sink base will outlast every year you'll ever spend in that house. You don't need one single thing more than that. So whatever you land on, refacing, all new, doesn't matter, there's one cheap job I want you to go do, and this is the part I know cold. Go protect the cabinet under your sink, because that's the one that dies first, and it costs almost nothing to save it. If the bottom in there is bare board, run a bead of caulk along the seams where the floor meets the sides and give it a coat of paint so water can't sneak in through the edges. Then drop in one of those cheap plastic under sink mats, the kind with a lip around the rim, about 15 bucks. That little tray catches a slow drip before it ever reaches the board. And for $10 more, set a little battery leak sensor back by the pipes, the kind that screams the second it feels water, so a slow leak wakes you up in a week instead of rotting away quietly for a year. A few bucks and 20 minutes, and the cabinet that would have been the first to go turns into the one that outlasts everything around it. That's the whole thing right there, and hardly anybody in that showroom is ever going to bother telling you it. I don't repair swollen Particleboard because nobody can, but I know exactly why it dies, and I know exactly how to make sure yours never does. Do these few things and you'll never have to call somebody like me. And if this saved you a headache or a few $1,000, do me one favor back. Hit that subscribe button, because I've got a lot more of this coming, and plenty of it's about building the stuff yourself instead of buying it. That part right there is what I love most. I'll see you in the next one.